And listen, we all know that change takes courage, especially when certainty feels like it's like the only safe ground, right? Like, I know y'all love to stay in the comfort zone. I get it. But listen, we can get you out that safe space, okay? I think there's a way to do that. I think there's really an art to the pivot, which is what we're going to get into today. But before we even get there, I want you to imagine something with me. As I was thinking about this, I think I just love like visualizations. I always think about like Jesus and the parables. His stories were really visual, right? Like I would make you fishers of men, like you understand what that means. So take the image of like two gears trying to turn, right? Like, you have the gears together and it like works together to like spin, right? They spin off of each other, they lock into the parts, right? Think about that. And as they are trying to turn, they're sort of like struggling, but struggling really to flow. And in that stuck space, right? There's something there that's keeping it from flowing fluidly. And I want you to think about you and your experience with the things that you're doing as that space. And in that stuck space is your overthinking. And your overthinking is really clogging up the flow. All right. Those thoughts, girl, all the things that come through your head that tell you that you can't do this, or this is how my life or my business should look like. Or things like, if I stop pushing, I'm failing. Or if I don't do the thing, it's because I'm weak. Or maybe I don't know enough. Or what will people think? Or who has time to really start over? All of those things are your stuck points, and it's really just paralyzing your flow. But here's the truth. It is okay to pivot out of that space and really redefine your path. And for some of you, the pivot just isn't okay, but it's necessary. So you don't have to be here. We can open it up and figure out how to shift and do something differently. Okay. So is it okay if we shift a gear today? I wish I was in the room so you could say like, yes. But I hear you in my head. So we're going to keep going, okay? And here's the thing, ladies. A lot of us are living, I'm going to say, living out outdated patterns and expectations and things that really tell us like what and how we should be, but it doesn't always align with like what is in our heart to do, right? And I think when things don't look the way that we've been taught or that we've been shown, I think that's where that like dis-ease and distress really starts to begin for us anyway, right? And I have to tell you that I kind of see a lot of this with women of color in leadership in particular, and those of them in these different capacities in their lives, whether it's, leading in corporate, whether it's building a business and learning to be not just a worker bee, but like the boss, right? The CEO of their business and stepping into that mindset, or whether it's like managing a family, like that is a leadership role too. I think what I noticed with women of color in particular, we really carry this invisible weight to be the best, right? Black excellence is a thing. And sometimes it's a thing to the point that we have to prove it. We feel like we have to constantly show up to prove who we are, right? To prove this idea of who or what we should be, no matter the cost. And I think because of that, it creates this fear to pivot when we really need to, right? Whether it's to pivot completely, whether it's to pause, like we don't even like to pause. We don't like to rest. We don't even like to like rest to go to the bathroom. Okay. Like that is how crazy it's become for us. And we are really continually hardwiring ourselves to go faster and to do more instead of figuring out how to be efficient and do less. And for some of us, it's really gotten to the point that change means that I've failed. Or maybe the idea of a new version of yourself is just too overwhelming. So you decide it's not even worth trying. Right. So that stuck space decision, I'm going to break it down to a little bit more. It doesn't just reside in your head, it takes residence in your body, in your motivation, in everything that you decide to do. Stuck is the result of you forcing yourself into a story that doesn't fit anymore. And when you experience things like the lack of motivation, the anxiety, the mean girl self-talk, the lack of self-care for yourself, right? For that whole physical, beautiful self of yours. When girl, you ain't even really doing your hair no more. You're just brushing it back for the 10,000th time, right? When you have skipped your time off or lost it because you haven't used it, right? When you are feeling yourself just kind of falling apart, like all of those things are the symptom of the dis-ease within yourself. I really want y'all to think about this. Like, what if the stress that you're feeling is really a signal not to push harder, but to pivot? Right. But if you are committed to staying in the same place day after day with no real progress, I want you to understand like that's not perseverance. I'm sorry, you're committed to the same craze. It's not perseverance, baby. That's a slow death of unhappiness. And you deserve better. I want you to hear that. You deserve better. I really want you to know and understand that you have permission to evolve at any point in your life. You don't have to stick to a story that no longer serves you. And this next chapter, as a big girl who has lived her life, who has stacked up experiences on her shelf, who has survived some things, who's birthed babies, who's struggled through some things, who's conquered the unspeakable, who's gotten through some doors, climbed through some windows, it's all about you and who you want to be. This chapter is not about what anybody else expects from you anymore. It is okay to even understand that the expectations that you have lived by, have built your life on, it's okay to look at it and decide that I don't want that to be my story anymore, right? Or maybe I never wanted it to be, but I did because I had no other choice. I want you to understand that you have choice now. And I'm cautious about this because not all of our stories are crazy. And a lot of us are or have become the woman that we are because of our rich experiences, right? Good or bad or without judgment, right? Because of the things that we have gone through, it's positioned us to who we are now. It's positioned us to want to serve in the capacity that we serve in. It's positioned us to be great leaders, right? To be very strong women. Yes, but I want you to explore what parts of that don't I need now? As I have or I'm about to evolve, do I want to evolve with that same mindset that's bringing this dis-ease within myself and also within my body? Your next level is waiting on the other side of your fear. And today, I want to grant you permission to pivot. Oh my goodness. But I'm saying it, but honestly, you need to say it and believe it deeply for yourself, right? Or give yourself permission to go play with it and allow it to take root, allow that belief to take root in yourself, because some of y'all just keep waiting forever and it's not happening. But even the idea of permission and possibility might come to you sooner if you actually just start acting like you've given yourself permission and taking some chances and doing some things, right? I'm taking this dance class with my hubby and we go like every week, right? And we were learning this spin move. And to make the full turn, you had to like twist a bit to the right, like a wind up dog kind of, and to use that momentum to pivot your whole body around to the left, like a whole like 360 move to get your 2 feet back to the other side, right? A nice little twirl, right? And I think some of us, permission is our momentum. Is that thing here, right? That allows us to experience what we want. That's us in the spin. And the pivot is the recognition that it's time for a new step. Y'all can sit on that. Permission is your momentum. Okay. So, so much there. And I have to like contain where I want to go. Yeah, but I'll give you an example. I almost didn't start this podcast, and not because I lacked content or passion, but because I was stuck on something as small as the name. And for months, I let that small detail hold me back and allow it to become a bigger reason for just not diving into the thing, right? And I thought it just had to be not 100% perfect, but perfect enough, like really catchy, that really captured everything that I wanted to say and really got me to the audience that I wanted and was just really clear. And I wasted so much time in that space turning 90 degrees instead of giving myself permission to fully turn the 360. One day I decided to stop overthinking and just call it what it is, the Amanda Flood Show. And it actually came to me when I started working on the entrepreneur school, the Couch to Business Collective. And that was another place where I almost got stuck. But child, the content and what I have to deliver is deeper than a name, and a name can evolve. And that clarity alone allowed me to really break free from what I thought it had to be and simply like let it be mine, which is huge for me. Because as I'm talking about it, it's like, wow, it's really like I'm stepping into a place of ownership, owning my story, owning what I want, and really believing in what I want enough that I can put my name on it. And there's a level of integrity that comes with my name because I want it to mean something. I want it to represent quality work. I want to make sure that what I'm doing serves at the highest capacity. So if it's going to be my name, it's going to be something that is meaningful for you as the receiver. Hmm. And still, there's a lot of depth to that, but I won't go into that here, honey. But the decision was the momentum that I needed to finally start planning. And I realized I had been holding back that great information that I so want to share with you guys and to my community, and really sitting on ideas and even conversations that I could have had like 2 years ago. Which for me, it's like, yo, how many people could you have spoken to in the past 2 years? How many things could you have learned yourself and personally evolved? And how many people could you have helped in that time if you allowed your voice? If you gave yourself permission to be in the space and do the thing and not get tripped up over the little things. 2 years. How long have you been sitting and tolerating discontentment around you, or justifying and rationalizing things for you, or ignoring it within you? Are you ready to turn yet, honey? Because I want to tell you how, right? So it's good to just like talk about things, but I love for y'all to get the how for me as well. Because it's another thing to like hear the instruction. Like I watch my instructor, my salsa dancer instructor, right? And I'm a visual and a verbal learner, right? So it's like I'm hearing you, but I want to see it too. But it's another thing to hear it and see it and to actually move and do the thing, right? And to then take your eyes off the instructions and do it yourself. That's like a whole nother level. And to trust yourself into doing, that's a whole nother level, honey. But we're going to take you to another level right now. And the first thing I would say that you need to do in this place of pivot and stepping out of your comfort zone and really learn to trust yourself, there's so much here, guys, is to give yourself permission to just entertain the idea of change. As you do that, I want you to just notice what comes up when you allow that thought, right? As you think about this different path or a new direction, see what comes up, write it down. The fears, write down the excitement, the doubts, really just capture it all, okay? And this is not even about like committing to do the thing yet. It's just about exploring your options. We're just making a list to see what excites you, what scares you about the change. This is going to become your roadmap to understanding what's truly holding you back, right? It's like for us, if I was coaching you, it'd help me to understand where you're stuck and we could really get you through those parts, right? If we're working on this deeper in terms of therapy, we'd use that as our entryway to get to like what's really behind that. So in order for you to move forward, you may have to see where you really are. Right? And now that you done did that, let's go even deeper. I'm gonna give you a couple steps to work through it. I want you to dig into that resistance. So before you even make the decision to do and to commit, take a step back. Ask yourself, what's really stopping me from moving forward? I want you to identify the barriers, whether they're internal fears, external expectations, whether it's self-imposed limits. Like, what is it, girl? Sit with those feelings for a little bit. I know it can be a lot, but sometimes just acknowledging it helps you to get power over it. Because we can really then decide if I need it, if it's true, or what it needs for me to understand that it isn't true or that it doesn't serve me anymore. Okay. So after you've asked yourself those things, here comes the next question. If I was guaranteed success, what would I do next? If I had everything I needed to increase my capacity, what would that look like? Just kind of let your mind like play with it for a little while, explore it freely. Like there's no judgment here. We're not blaming you for what I could have, what I should have. You're just in the playground having a good time. You're just running around trying out all the things. Ask yourself the question and try on these thoughts and ideas. Okay. Let's keep going. Step 2, I want you to surround yourself with the right people. Find a trusted circle, whether it's mentors, coaches, or like-minded peers. It's so important to be around the right people, y'all. You want to be around people that can really offer both guidance and accountability. You want to be around other people that are dreaming big too, and that are dreaming out loud, right? That are problem solving together, that have done some things that you can really like model too. Okay, because this really isn't the time to go it alone. Schedule those conversations with people. Get into the room with them. Share your fears, your dreams, your hesitations. So even if you're not ready to do that yet, just be in the space to just listen and receive. Sometimes it's really not about getting the answers, right? It's just about being in the space where there's capacity, in the space where things are going to grow, right? And you need that space to be able to think out loud, to think in ways that you maybe have never thought about before, to maybe speak in ways you've never done before. And whatever you get out of that space and conversation and listening, you're going to use that to help you shift your momentum just a little bit more. Okay. Remember, insight comes from dialogue, not from isolation. So stop trying to just be by yourself. Like, find your people, they're out there. So now we're going to keep going. Here's another thing that you can add to this process. Take one small step. I remember, I was a couple years ago now, I did this workshop for Black Girls Run. What if you had 1% more courage? What would you do? And nobody's asking you to like take this big old leap into the unknown, right? Like take that big old thing off the table, right? And just think about what is the next thing that I could do. You don't just wake up and go lift like 300 pounds. You got to start low. Maybe just start with the bar today, honey, and lifting that and trying to get your strength up so you can get to the bigger thing. Same thing here. Take the next easiest but most courageous step that you can take, and that is the pivot. Maybe it's as simple as signing up for a class. Maybe it's as simple as having a difficult conversation, one that you've been avoiding, or even blocking out your time on your calendar to like map out your ideas instead of giving your time away to every meeting, every call, every person, and not creating space for yourself. Maybe instead of like running away to go support other people, you take some time for yourself to plan out, what do I want my life to look like in the next year, in the next 2 years? And maybe you start to map that out for you. The key is movement, guys, not perfection. And movement isn't this big thing. It could just be those little incremental steps. So choose the action that makes you just a little bit uncomfortable, but not like paralyzed with fear. Okay. And know that this like discomfort just rumbling inside of you is that sign that you're growing. Like I'd rather you have rumbling than nothing. All right. All right. Next thing we want to do. I hope you are taking notes, guys. Oh my God, this is good. Right. And I should tell you, like, my style is to pour into you. So you might want to save this episode and plan to come back with it with a pen because you might not have realized that so much was coming out today. Or you might need to listen again because I'm sure every time you listen, you'll catch something just a little bit better. Okay. So make sure you save it because we are really deep into the art of the pivot. So back to salsa class. When I'm in class and we spin all while, and they're like, you can start that way to get it. But eventually it looks like this. And they come in and they do their little smoothness. And you like, what? And a spin and you slide your foot out and back, all of that. I can't wait to look like that. But how I get there is with these small steps. So start accumulating your small wins of action and allow that to build momentum. Right. And along the way, track your progress, honey, because we forget. But I want you to celebrate even those small victories. Celebrate that, right? The email you finally decided to send, girl, celebrate that. That first draft you finished, celebrate that. That client you cancel so that you can work on your business, celebrate that. The meeting you schedule, the conference you went to, the group you decided to commit to, right? Wherever you put your investment, even if it hurt you, celebrate that you did it. Because these micro wins, like this is what creates confidence, and that confidence fuels momentum. So maybe keep a journal, document it on your phone, but keep track of it because it's so easy to forget it, like moment to moment, week to week, day to day. Okay. And you guys do some things so well that you don't even realize that it is a win for you because you're doing it so much now that it's smooth. It's become part of your life. Okay. So you need this visual reminder that you're making progress. Even when your mind starts to panic, then it's easier to bring it back to what you're capable of because you have that list, right? So it becomes a coping tool really for you to be able to reference what you have done. Like I said, finish the sentence and give your mind more information. Your mind is panicking because it feels like unknown territory. It feels very unsafe. It wants to make sure you are. So it's like, oh no, girl, you can't do this. That's when you gotta flip open the book like, I have done this. I did do this. Oh wait, we did this. So you know what? We're okay. We're okay. Give it that information. And please don't let perfectionism keep you stuck. If something doesn't feel right, adjust. Okay. The beauty of the pivot, guys, is flexibility. And I know some of us have to work that as a muscle too. It's like if you don't stretch for a long time, you are not flexible. So I get it. If you're not, approach that with grace, but know that I'm going to keep trying and getting it so I can become more flexible. Give yourself permission to do that. Permission to change, permission to adjust the strategy as you go. Okay. Permission to know that it's not failure, it's refinement. Okay. Ooh, child, these are so good. And I'm feeling myself getting kind of tired, but I want to finish. I want to give you a little bit more. So let's see. I think I can do one more, right? So the next thing I'm going to say is to anchor change in your identity. And what I mean by that, I think we could probably pose it as a question. Who do I need to become to make this pivot successful? Because who you were before may not be who we need today. But also know who you are today is probably who you need today. My mind instantly went to like CrossFit. Like we walk in and we don't know what the hell the workout is, right? And it could be something ridiculous. And I may not even realize that I'm ready to take on the ridiculousness because in my head, I'm already like, I've already died. And I've already calculated who is gonna like call and tell my husband, who might like try to resuscitate me, who's gonna call 911. Like I planned the scene out already, right? But that's my mind getting ahead of itself instead of recognizing, well, girl, like you have been working out and doing some things that you might be prepared for this right now. So sometimes you have to recognize that you may not even realize who you need to be today. You are ready for it today. Okay. But a sidebar to that, or switch that aside for a second, visualize that version of you who's ready today. Visualize the version of you who has already made the change that you need. What habits does she have? This is something that like high performance athletes do. They envision the whole race. They envision themselves winning. They envision themselves like making that 3-point shot or that half court shot, right? Because your mind is so tricky, just like it's so quick to get to the negative because it just quickly perceives information. In the same way, we can get it to get to the positive if we give it the right information. All right. So do that with visualization. Start to embody the traits now before the full pivot is complete. What does she look like? What is she doing? How does she feel? This is really about aligning your actions with your future self and practicing that identity until it becomes second nature. No lie, like this is something that I need to do more regularly too, really seeing myself at the next version of success, right? And knowing that once I get there, like I've got to evolve that vision there too. So the vision is going to keep evolving because as you get there, you're going to need a different version of you. As you get there, you're going to realize like, oh, she's also got to be this. She's also got to show up this way. So, ooh, let me get back and keep evolving the vision. Ooh, so good. And I hope y'all got them all. I would recap, but that's too much work. So, you could always save the episode, y'all, and then come back to it. Okay. So, these steps is really the art of making changes or pivoting in your life. It's staying adaptable, it's giving yourself permission to grow, to build on the intentional steps. I will say it's easier when you have a tribe, like really other women who get it, other women of color who just understand that experience and can hold space for you and support your consistency, really, as you navigate the complexities of yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, and what's going to be required of you to change. And it's hard to carry that weight by yourself. It's hard to be in spaces that don't really see you. It's hard when people don't understand the direction that you're going, right? You've got to be with people that get it. And if that's not in your immediate, I really encourage you to go find it. If you're at work, get yourself a mentor, get connected with things like ERG groups, employee resource groups, find yourself a sister circle, right? It doesn't have to be at work, right? Get into conferences, go hang out with people that are really like-minded like you. And I host a retreat every year, and it's really because I love seeing the women come together and facilitating this space. it's important for me. Sometimes it's more important for me than I realize, but I know how much we need spaces to fully be ourselves and to also be poured into. Like that is truly priceless. So I encourage you to do that so that this shifting, growing, pivoting work becomes easier because you're constantly giving your mind that information of what you need and that it's possible and that, that you can, so you could see yourself at that next version of you and what it is that you need to do. Okay. All right, community. So, if today's Art of the Pivot episode hit home, stick with me now. We are flowing deep all season into this concept of the pivot and how to evolve and what it looks like in real life with women who are like us, right? So that's going to be pretty dope. So I hope that you'll come back to listen again. But for now, here's what I need you to do. I really need you to share this episode with some powerhouse friends who need this message. And don't think because people show up and look really great that they don't need to be reminded that they're a powerhouse, that they don't need to be reminded to go through these things and ask themselves these questions, because the level they are at, they may need to get to another level. And there may be a gap there that even just this conversation alone today can fill, right? So let's really keep building each other up as we courageously step into the next chapter, as we leverage our skills and expertise unapologetically and do some amazing things. So share it with your 3 friends. Like and share this episode for yourself. Save it for yourself. And I'll see you soon. Okay. Your next chapter, honey, is not a destination. It is a decision. And I hope that you choose you. And then I hope that you will choose the next intentional, purpose-filled step to help you get there. Thank you for being with me today, y'all. My name is Amanda Flood. Ooh, keep evolving, keep pivoting, and I'll see you in the next chapter. Yeah.